Hello, everybody. My name is Zeina and I am a dating and relationship coach for high achieving women. I'm so excited to speak with you today. I'm going to be talking about 3 skills to develop to create a more conscious relationship with yourself. Now, the reason why this is so important is that the more conscious relationship that we have with ourselves, the more depth we have with that relationship, the more intimacy we have in that relationship, then the deeper the relationships we create with everyone else, whether it be love or if it overflows into anything else. And it's really important because I see so much. The big thing that we want today is connection and intimacy with other people. It's never been more accessible at our fingertips, and yet at the same time, it's never created such a huge distance between connection with people. So I'm really excited to talk about those 3 skills. As you're joining, I would love to say hi to you. Please just say hi in the comments below. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you are watching the replay, please make sure to hashtag replay so I can come back and connect with you as well. This is all about connection. So getting right into it, the first skill to develop to create a more conscious relationship with yourself is honesty. Now, this one is a little bit interesting. Okay, so what I notice is that when I have clients, we're talking about wanting honesty from partners. We don't want partners to lie to us. We don't want to be lied to by other people. So to create that dynamic with another person, it begins with ourself. So when you are in moments where something feels off, or when you feel like, did that person just tell me the truth? I don't know, right? And so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, those moments where you second guess yourself, where you aren't sure. So in those moments where there's confusion and you feel like something is off, or someone is lying, if you are not saying something, if you're not speaking up in the situation, if you're not being honest about how the situation is making you feel, then there's a level of dishonesty within ourselves, right? In that moment, we are not valuing honesty. In that moment, we are valuing being liked by the other person. Because if we say something, if we notice that this person is lying, when I say call them out, I don't mean it in an aggressive kind of way, but like calling them out in terms of saying something like, oh, I noticed that you said this, but I thought that it was this, however it goes, right? Whatever the situation. But when we silence ourselves because we are afraid of how the person is going to react, or a huge one, let me know if this is you, I don't like confrontation. I avoid confrontation. I hear that so much. So the question that I have for you is, how do you identify the difference between confrontation and speaking up for yourself? Because if there's no difference, right? Like if you don't want to say something because you feel like it's going to be confrontational, then what you are saying is, I don't like speaking up for myself, right? I don't like making people mad. I would prefer to keep the peace, right? That's what's happening when you say, I don't like confrontation. So it's so important that we shift the mindset around confrontation, because confrontation is just speaking up for yourself, right? And it's a lot more uncomfortable to say, I don't like speaking up for myself, or I don't like to have my back, than it is to say, I don't like confrontation. But again, that's what we're saying when we say we don't like confrontation. So leaning into the discomfort in the situation and being honest about where we are, about how the situation makes us feel, about how we are feeling, about what our emotions are, right? So when we are being fully honest, even though there's discomfort, even though we feel uncomfortable, when we are fully in our honesty, then it invites the other person to be honest back. Right? So when we get frustrated that another person is lying to us, it starts with us, right? The invitation is, how does this situation making me feel? What do I really want to say about this situation? And when you don't say anything at all, you are lying as well to yourself, right? And that lie to yourself invites the lie from the other person to persist. But when you stop stop it right then and there because you say, you know what, I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to avoid having this conversation because I'm more important than, feeling uncomfortable. I'm more important than, being lied to and receiving love, like, and acceptance from another person. Then you're able to lean into that discomfort and be honest. And how that person reacts, you get to make a decision now, right? So in order to eliminate lies, right, in order to invite more honesty into our life, it begins with us and how we're feeling. So that's the number one skill. Well, not the number one, but out of the 3 skills that I'm going to be talking about, that's number 1, honesty. Honesty from others is invited in when we are honest with ourselves. Super, super important. Number 2, this leads right into it, is stop trading your power for love, right? Now, I know there's a lot of talk about like, giving up your power or, that's the big phrase, giving up your power. But really what it is it's trading. Because if you think about giving up something, right? I might have clothes in my closet that I want to take to Goodwill. I'm giving it up. There's nothing I need in return. I'm just giving it up. I'm giving it away. That's it, giving away your power. Giving away your power. I couldn't think of it. So, Cassie, thank you so much for being here. So, when you are giving away something, there's nothing that you're getting in return. You're giving it away. So I personally phrase it as trading your power for love. So in the situations where I'm not being honest with myself, then I am trading my power, because I have the power to speak up. I have the power to say something. I'm trading that power for someone's love, like, and acceptance. Because when we really think about the situation, we're staying quiet because we don't want to make the person mad, because we're afraid of confrontation, right? Whatever the reason is, whatever the belief is that we're telling ourselves of why we need to stay quiet. We don't want the relationship to go off the track that we want it to go down. And this is something that I've worked on myself in the past, which is why I'm able to help my clients now. I remember being in a relationship where after the first week, I caught him in a lie. And I didn't say anything because I felt like if I said something, it was going to take the relationship off course, right? So what did I do? I lied to myself and I invited him to continue to lie to me, because from that point on, pretty much the relationship was built on a lie. And I didn't say anything because I expected that I was going to receive his love in the end, right? The relationship is going down a specific track, and saying something might take it off the track. But what track do I want it to go down? Well, I want the title of a girlfriend. I want a relationship. I want his love, right? So I was inviting his dishonesty by negating the honesty within myself, and I traded my power for love. I didn't give it up, right? Because I expected something in return. It was a trade. Super, super important. And then number 3 is trust. Huge one, right? I work with women who say that I can't trust men. I don't know how to trust men. And the good news is you don't have to worry about whether or not you have to trust them. You only have to trust yourself, right? In that moment that I told you, after 1 week of dating someone, I knew he was lying, right? I didn't say anything. I negated my truth and I lied to myself by not saying something. I traded my power for his love, and I wasn't trusting myself. I knew, but I didn't listen to myself, right? So I can say that, okay, I went down it was a long-term relationship where he constantly lied, but the great part about now being able to trust myself is that I don't have to repeat that relationship, right? Why did I date someone who lied? Well, because I lied to myself about how I was feeling. I negated the truth within me. I traded my power for his love, and I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust that I would find someone else. I didn't trust that I was enough. I didn't trust myself to speak up. I didn't trust myself to be able to handle the fallout if he got angry with me. And who's to say he would have even gotten angry with me, right? These are all projections that I'm creating in my mind. But it's so, so, so important. And it's good news in that I never have to repeat that relationship. Why? Because I understand how I contributed towards the relationship to create that dynamic. And it's so important to note that it's not about blaming yourself, it's not about shaming yourself, and it's not about making yourself wrong, right? Like, I don't look back and think to myself, oh my gosh, I should have done something different. I made decisions based on where I was at in my journey with the tools and the resources that I had. And I really didn't have a conscious relationship with myself because I wouldn't have been able to tell you I was doing any of those three things. I didn't know that I was negating my honesty. I didn't know I was lying to myself. I didn't know I traded my power for his love. And I didn't know that I wasn't trusting myself. I just knew that something was off, and I just knew that I wanted to be loved. I really wanted to be loved, and I felt like I wasn't going to be able to handle not having this go down the track that I felt like I needed it to go down. But now I know different. I know how I contributed towards the relationship. It takes two to tango, right? It always takes two people to create a dynamic. So when you walk away from a relationship, when you walk away from a situation, there's no relationship anymore because you're not putting your energy towards it, right? You've cut it off. But when someone brings their energy and you bring your energy, then how you're showing up creates the dynamic. It takes two to tango. So in this sense, it's really, really good news because I never have to repeat that relationship, right? I've been able to develop honesty within myself, develop the ability to speak up no matter how difficult or uncomfortable the situation is, stop trading my power for love, right? Because when I'm trading my power for whatever it is, love, like, acceptance, an opportunity, when I'm trading that, I'm saying that whatever I'm trading my power for has more value than me. But I'm at the place where I believe, no, actually, I have more value, right? So no matter how heartbroken I might feel, no matter how whatever, insert the adjective, I might feel, I know that I have the tools and resources within me to move through that discomfort, to move through that pain, to move through how I feel and be okay on the other side. And that's so, so important. So these are just 3 tools, 3 skills that I practice and help my clients develop in order to create a more conscious relationship with ourselves. Because when you develop those skills and create a more conscious relationship with yourself, it deepens your relationship with everyone else. And that's what we want, right? Connection and intimacy with other people. In a time where connection has never been more prevalent through social media, and at the same time, we've never felt so disconnected from people through social media. So, to recap what I had said, number 1 skill is honesty, right? Being honest with yourself in the moments and how you're feeling invites honesty in from the other person. When you lie to yourself about how you're feeling, when you silence yourself because you don't want to make the person mad or whatever the reason why you don't want to say anything, you're not being honest with yourself. And that invites more dishonesty in from the other person. Honesty, number 1. Number 2, stop trading power for love. You're not giving away your power. You're trading it because you want something in return, whether it be love, like, acceptance, or an opportunity from another person. You're more valuable than whatever it is that you're trading your power for. You are always more valuable. Stop trading power for love. And number 3, trust. Trusting in ourselves, right? So when we feel that little nudge, when something feels funny, we're trusting ourselves and we're following through with our intuition, what it's guiding us to uncover. There's something that I always like to say too, is that, love is blind. We all know that phrase, but we have 4 other senses, right? We have hearing, taste, touch, and smell. So hearing When you, it's not just words, but it's through actions, right? So what are you hearing from his actions? Because if his actions and words are not aligned, something's off, right? He's telling us something through that. Touch, if it feels funny, if it's just hard to put your finger on, tough to put your finger on, right? It's another form of our intuition talking to us. If it smells like BS, probably is. And if it's a hard pill to swallow, it's also our body trying to tell us something. That was a little bit of a tangent, but I felt like it was appropriate right there. So those are the 3 skills to develop to create a more conscious relationship with yourself. If this is resonating with you, if you feel intrigued, even if you feel triggered, right? I invite you, I'm going to have a link, book a call with me. I am taking on clients to help them develop a more conscious relationship with themselves so that they create deeper relationships with everyone else, right? So you are able to find love, right? If that's what you desire. So you're able to date confidently if that's what you desire, or so you can connect more intimately with your partner if that's what you desire. Right? Connection with everyone else begins with a deeper conscious relationship with ourselves. And one thing that I do want to say before I jump off is patterns don't necessarily disappear, but the more conscious of a relationship that we have with ourselves, the easier it is to recognize when those patterns resurface, right? So as an example, I remember seeing something on social media, and it was a coach who easily makes over 100K a month. And he had made the comment that he forgot to pay a bill, so he got the notice that he owes $4,500. He didn't forget to pay. He thought that it was less than what it was. So then he got the bill for $4,500. And he immediately oh my gosh, $4,500. And he asked himself, wait a minute, why are you afraid? What do you have to believe in order to feel fear, right? And it was all the old patterns resurfacing. But, so that goes to show that patterns, right? Patterns that we heal never actually go away. They still resurface, but the more conscious relationship you have with yourself, you immediately notice when it starts to appear, and you know how to move yourself through it so the old pattern doesn't take over. And so relating that back to conscious relationship with ourselves is there are times where I have to catch myself wait, are you being honest with yourself? Wait a minute, are you really trusting yourself? Wait a minute, are you trading power to receive something from someone else? Right? We are human. Perfection doesn't exist, right? If perfection existed, there'd be no need for tomorrow. This is a journey. And so I just say that in terms of having grace with yourself, having compassion with yourself, showing yourself love, not beating yourself up, not making yourself wrong, not shaming yourself, not blaming yourself. We are human. But the more conscious relationship you have with yourself, you notice that pattern when it comes up, and you feel confident that you can trust yourself to pull out the tools and resources that are already within you and move through the difficult situation. So I'm going to have the link to book a call. I really invite you, if this resonates with you, so we can connect, we can talk more. And if it works, if it's a great fit for one-on-one, I'd love to be able to work with you and we can develop a more conscious relationship with yourself so that you have deeper relationships with everyone else. Thanks for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.